And what I'm going to share with you today is why is it that rich people become rich and why is it that poor people stay poor? Now, when I first got started in this entrepreneurship journey, I just wanted to make a lot of money. I'm not going to lie. And honestly, I still want to make a lot of money. But the reason why I wanted to make a lot of money when I first got started, just being transparent, is because I wanted to stunt on people. I wanted to go out there. I wanted to be able to flash money in the clubs. I wanted to be able to go out there with a Rolls Royce. I wanted to be able to go and get a Porsche, be able to have these nice cars, this big old house, 5,000, 6,000 square foot house. I wanted to be able to say, look, y'all might have bullied me in school, but your boy's a boss now. I got long money. All right. And that's just me being real. But as I've matured, I realized that buying all that stuff really doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything at all. And if you really want to have a lot of money, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's more so about the mindset of having that money. Now, my mindset has shifted to I want to be able to create a system that allows for my family to have generational wealth. And many people think that generational wealth is about money, but generational wealth is more about a system that allows for you to create more money. If you go look up, John D. Rockefeller and see what he actually did, being able to leverage the insurance policies and trust, he was able to create generational wealth, and his family continues to get richer and more rich as time goes on. And that is because he started off with probably this foundational principle today, which is we're going to be discussing why people get rich and why the poor stay poor. Now, there is something that is very important, and that is if you want to get rich, you need to know and understand two sentences. All right. There are two sentences that you need to know, and those two sentences are this. Number one, you need to determine and understand what the top 5% of people are doing. The top 5% of people, these are people that are rich and wealthy. These are the people that are financially independent. And you need to figure out what is it that they are doing. Once you determine what they are doing, you need to start implementing those things within your life. Now, a lot of people think that rich people are rich because they're evil. Some rich people are evil, but the majority of them, at least the ones that I have met, they are actually very kind individuals. And when you actually start to make more money, what I've discovered is that the more money you make, whoever you are, whatever type of person you are, internally, having more money is going to expose more of that. And whoever, if you're good, that means you're going to share more goodness. If you're bad, you're going to share more badness. And if you're poor, that ends up causing a lot of issues. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. But the second sentence is whatever the bottom 95% of people are doing, which are people that are poor, people that are living paycheck to paycheck, whatever they are doing, you need to study that too. And you might be thinking, well, why do I need to study that? Well, the reason you need to study that is because you need to stop doing those things if you fall into the bottom 95%. And after reading this book from Myron Golden, From the Trash Man to the Cash Man, I learned that those two sentences. And once you understand that, now it's like you go on a search to actually learn how you can become wealthy, how you can start creating these or utilizing systems to be able to become wealthy. Now, the next thing that he says in this book is the fact that what you have to do is you have to study them. You have to understand them. You have to go and make a list. You have to write things down. And tonight I'm going to be sharing with you three things that poor people do that keep them poor. And I'm going to be sharing with you three things that rich people do that allows for them to become richer. All right. Now, if you have a sheet of paper, you want to Draw you a nice little T chart. On one side, write rich, and on the other side, write poor. All right. What is the first thing that poor people do that rich people do not do? Well, the first thing is financial principles. Poor people have none. Rich people, they have financial principles. So you may be thinking, what are some financial principles? Because that's honestly what I thought. I was like, what exactly are financial principles? Well, first, principles are basically laws that no matter what happens, no matter what environment a specific principle is in, it is going to work. And a financial principle that everyone should start to learn and understand is the principle of compound interest. When you understand the principle of compound interest, it can completely change your life because that's how you will be able to know how your money will multiply. Now, with compound interest, what you end up having is you have a formula that, depending on what the rate of your return is, let's say that is 2% or 5% or 30%, you can divide that number by 72, and that is what's going to give you the amount of time it's going to take for your income to double. All right. That's how long it's going to take for your income to double. And the reason why it's important for you to actually invest money, the reason why it's important for you to start looking at these numbers is because of the fact that there are so many people out there who are living paycheck to paycheck. And the reason why they're living paycheck to paycheck is because they do not understand financial principles. Now, the second financial principle that you actually want to focus on is you want to start to understand how to manage money. When you understand how to manage money, your life is going to change. Now, I did what they said to do. I went to school, I got a good job, and I started making money. And what happened? I started spending money like I was a crazy man. Like, hey, look, these new J's coming out, I'm going to get them. Hey, I can go out to eat and get steak and shrimp and crab legs, I'm going to eat it. And that caused me to basically put myself in a hole. And when I put myself in that hole, now I'm like, man, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I got this bill coming up. I can't save any money. And I have all these other financial issues that are coming up because I was not watching over my finances. So, what you want to do, like I said, is first compound interest if you're getting into investing. But the main thing is you want to know and understand how to manage your finances. Now, managing your finances is much different than budgeting. All right. Which I'll cover this in a future episode. But when you actually go to manage your money, this is how I started to manage my money, and this been working extremely well. I have six categories. I have six categories that I put my money in. The first one is, as a believer, I tithe. So I tithe 10% of what my income is. The second thing that I do is I live off of 50% of my income. All right. I live off of 50% of my income. I'm going to repeat that again. I live off of 50% of my income. Now I have tithing, live off 50% of my income. So you might be thinking, okay, if I tithe 10% and I have another 50% that I'm living off of, that's 60% altogether. You are correct. So what is it that I do with the other 40%? Well, first, I save. I'll save 10%. The next thing that I'll do is I will actually go and I will invest in my education. Okay. I invest in learning new skills. I invest in personal development, developing my mindset, developing my skill set when it comes to business, understanding how to sell, understanding how to market, understanding how to utilize tools. So I will purchase books, I will purchase courses, I will go to seminars, I will invest in myself to learn more, to be able to actually become more valuable to the marketplace. So after I save, after I invest in my education, then I put some money aside that I do not touch. This is called the I can finish free, which means I put money over there. That money makes money, and that may be in stocks, that may be in cryptocurrencies because we have those now. That may be in real estate, but I put my money in some type of investment vehicle that is going to allow for that money to actually work for me. And once you have your money working for you, instead of spending the money that you're making at your job, which right now many of you have a job, I currently still have a job, and I'm working to build a business that will allow for me to leave my job, which I would recommend everyone to do, especially with inflation. You get your raise might be 2 to 5%, but then inflation is like 7%. All right, you're never going to beat that just by waiting on a raise at work. However, going back to what I was saying, now you have money that you can finish free. So you're saving, you're investing in your education to learn new skills. Maybe it's learning how to build a business. Maybe it's learning how to market businesses or help business owners get more customers and make more money so then they can pay you. So now you are investing in your future so you can finish free. And the fourth one is the one that I really enjoy, which is you go have fun. All right. You go have fun. Now, what does this look like? This can mean you can go to the movies. Maybe you like going out to buy shoes. Maybe you like going to concerts. Whatever it is that you enjoy doing that brings you pleasure, you can go out and do those things, to have fun. Maybe you like hanging out with your friends. Maybe you like going out to a basketball game or a football game. You can go out and you can do these things, and that's another 10%. So we have the first 10%, I'm tithing. I'm making sure that I'm showing God that, hey, look, thank you for allowing for me to have this job, to have this income coming in. And I want to honor you by showing you that you are my source. You are my source, and this job or this business is a resource. So then once you end up going on to the next, you end up having living off 50%. And this is how so many rich people are able to get rich. It's not necessarily about the amount of money that you make, but it's how you're managing your money. When you're able to live within your means, this is what's really going to be able to help you start to finish free, which is, basically travel the world if you want to. You can go out on trips, you can go out to concerts and see some of the most beautiful places in the world. The next thing is, of course, you're investing in yourself, you're educating yourself, you're learning a new skill. And when you start to do that, you become more valuable to the marketplace, which allows for you to charge a higher and higher amount of money. And the next thing is now you are finishing free or not finishing free. Now you're able to actually save. So I have saving, I have investing in yourself, I have finishing free, and then we have you are going to be able to have fun. Now, those are some of the financial principles that you need to understand. Now, the second thing is what poor people do is poor people limit themselves. Poor people put limits. So limit setters and no limits. Now, when it comes to the rich do not put limits on themselves because of the fact when you say limit, you basically are making yourself smaller. All right. Generally, with poor people, and I used to be a poor person because of my mindset, and I used to have to say, look, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? Do I want to fill my tank up with gas or do I want to fill it up halfway and then I can go get some food? Or do I want to go spend $100 on groceries or do I want to spend $50 on groceries and $50 on my gas? Like, you will end up having limits that are put on you. Another type of limit that you will have on yourself is, hey, look, I can't do this. Or people say, I don't know how to do this and I don't want to learn how to do this and all these other excuses. And like when you got here, you didn't know how to walk. You didn't know how to use your cell phone. Many of you still don't know how to 100% use your cell phones. Yet and still you learn how to do it. Why? Because it was important to you. Many other times people stay poor because becoming rich is not important. I'm going to say that again. Oftentimes, many people stay poor because becoming rich is not important. And when I say actually becoming rich, what I'm talking about is earning at least $1 million per year. All right. So do not set limits on yourself. Rich people don't set limits. They say, okay, how can I do this and how can I do that? And that's where you want to get to. You want to get to, how can I do this and how can I do that? But if becoming rich is not important to you, if having options is not important to you, you're going to continue to stay poor. And that's what's going to cause you to have these limits that are set on you. And like, you're going to be miserable, basically. Because I know when I was poor, I wasn't managing my money and I wasn't doing certain things. Basically, what that caused for me to do is I was stressed out. Like, y'all see, I don't know if y'all see these gray hairs, but that's what caused me to end up being stressed out. Like, it's like, you're sitting here like, well, do I do this or do I do that? I don't have money to pay this bill, so maybe I'll pay this bill later and do that. You don't want to have limits. So I would suggest that you should start learning how to become rich. Now, I'm going to tell you this because many people aren't. There are only two types of businesses. All right. There are only two types of businesses. People will say, oh, you have an internet business, or you have this, or you have that. There are two types of businesses. One business provides a product, the second business provides a service. Now, that actually leads to the next thing, which is poor people actually work for money and rich people don't. And the reason rich people don't work for money is really for two things. One, they either start a product based business, which means, this eraser is a product. And, oh, hey, thank you. So you either have a product based business, which means, hey, look, these things right here that I'm holding, this whiteboard, this is a product. When you go and you create these products, what ends up happening is I can sell one of these, or I can sell 1,000 of these in an hour or in a minute. And when you actually go and you sell these, all you have to do is call your manufacturer and say, hey, I need more products. And you can continue to sell all of them at one time. But when you have a service, you're actually exchanging your time to make money. And that's what rich people don't do. Like, for me, having a job right now, what am I doing? There was some rich person that decided to create this company that I work for. And they decided, hey, look, I'm smart enough to go get these contracts. And I don't want to utilize my time doing the actual work. So I'm going to call people in that are smarter than me to come and do the work to make sure that it's efficient. And based off the money that I'm able to get for this contract, I'm going to pay them a percentage of that. And that's how rich people become rich. And you can do the same thing. Like, there are virtual assistants, which, of course, if you stay tuned on my page, you'll see like the different things that I'm doing. Like, this day and age, there is no excuse for you not to make money on the internet. Like, even right now, YouTube, you're watching this video on YouTube. You're watching this video right here on Instagram. Like, there's no excuse for you to not to be able to make money. Okay, you go out there, you learn a skill, you provide value to people. Like, even now, I'm just documenting my journey on what it is that I'm actually doing. Like, I went to school, became an engineer, started making money, didn't know how to manage my money, and now I'm sitting here making videos because I realized that I want to get my time back. I want to be able to spend time with my mom, spend time with my dad, spend time with my aunts and uncles and my cousins, and actually get to know them. Like, people in your family will pass away and you don't know them outside of hey cuz. Like, and I just find that to be very interesting, and it's a lot of information that's not being passed down. But at any rate, that was a little sidebar. But when you have a service, you are basically exchanging some of your time to be able to actually get that service done. Now, they do have different options where it's talking, or where you have a software as a service, which maybe you set up something one time, and for your customer or your client to continue to have access to it, then they will pay you a monthly retainer to keep access to it. And that's what rich people do. So rich people, poor people, they work for money, and rich people don't. So rich people work, or poor people work for money. Rich people don't work for money. They hire people to actually go and work for them, and they go and get these big contracts. Like, some of these companies, they're going to get in hundreds of millions and billions of dollars. And by them going and getting hundreds of millions of dollars, they will be able to get a percentage, and then they pay the people that are in their company. All right. So if you are right now trying to decide, well, what do I want to do? I would suggest having a product based business. And even these days, something that you can have, which I will actually be sharing later in later videos, is creating a digital product. You go create a digital product one time. It might take you an hour, it might take you a week, it might take you a month. But once you create that digital product, it's an automatic fulfillment, and you can just have it coming in, or income coming in consistently. And if you do it the right way, you can use it as a lead generation mechanism, which allows for you to grow and scale your business. So rich people don't work for money, poor people do. Now, what is the last thing that you need to focus on? The last thing you need to focus on is you need to be able to stop wasting your time. All right. One of the things that I stopped doing, which was a little bit hard because I enjoy doing it a lot, I stopped watching TV. I stopped playing video games. The reason why I stopped playing video games and I stopped watching TV is because of the fact that becoming rich became important to me. At least making $1 million became important to me. Why? My mom is getting a little bit older. Okay. No, everybody wants to talk about, oh, I'm young, I feel young. Okay, cool. Parents are getting a little bit older. I want to be able to spend more time with my parents. I want to be able to allow for them or help enable them to be able to enjoy the rest of their life. Like, sadly to say, today I ended up finding out that one of my coworkers just had lunch with him on Friday. He actually came to work on Monday, went to the hospital yesterday, which was Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. He died last night, Wednesday or Tuesday. So, like, this stuff is real. Like, life is real. We're only here for a short period of time, and you have to decide what is important to you and what's not. When I become rich, I can watch TV. I'll have the biggest screen TV ever in my house when I end up having one. But right now, my biggest thing is being able to get my time back. And for some of you watching this, you have been waiting. You've been like, man, I want to get my time back. What would you do with your time? Would you go see some of the most beautiful places in the world? Even travel to different states in the US? Maybe you will retire your parents. Maybe you'll go get a nice car. Maybe you will set up your future children, or even if you have children now, you will set them up to be good for the next generations. You know, so like, if it's not important to you, that's fine. But I'm just saying, for me personally, becoming rich was important to me because I don't want this cycle to continue of, having to decide either or. I don't want to be like, man, I want to go on a cruise this year, but I got to decide between going on a cruise, or do I want to go out of the country to Europe, or do I want to go to Paris? I don't want to have to make them decisions. I want to say, look, I want to go on a cruise next month, and then the month after that, or even the 2 weeks after that, I want to go to Europe. I want to be able to make those decisions and enjoy life. And I believe a lot of people will misunderstand me, and that's fine. Like, at this point, I really don't care anymore, because at the end of the day, you're not the person that's sitting there in my mind all day, every day, when I'm sitting there like, man, I wish I can do this, I wish I can do that, because my money is causing me to be limited. Okay, I want to make a lot of money because I want to have options. When you make a lot of money, you can have a lot of options. When you got a little bit of money, you have a little bit of options. So you have to decide what is in your best interest. Do you want to have a lot of options? If so, you got to learn how to become rich. You got to start doing what the rich people do. And it is not as hard as you think it's going to be. Yes, it's going to take some work. Yes, it might be a little frustrating in the beginning. But once you actually take your time and start to learn and develop these skills, which I'm going to help you learn, because I know a lot of people, y'all just want to get it done. You want to have this microwave success, and you're still going to have to do some work. But I've done a lot of the hard work for you to basically come up with a process that is going to work no matter what industry, no matter what business you are in. This process works. You just have to make it work for your specific business. But the process, the framework is the exact same. But you have to figure out what is it that is important to you. Are you comfortable with not having options and being poor, or do you actually want to become rich and have more options that you don't even have enough time to go do things? So I hope that this was helpful. Remember, execution is better than perfection, all right? You may get started on this, and you might say, hey, I tried this, and the first week I failed. It's okay. Execution. You started, continue to keep going, because it's going to be a journey. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. All right. So I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, make sure you comment down below and leave your biggest takeaway. And if you have any topics that you would like for me to cover more in depth, make sure that you go ahead and comment that down below as well. And I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out for now.